Let's freaking go. NFL draft is over. And it's time to chat about all 10, not one, not two, not three, in the words of LeBron James, not four, not five, not six, 10. 10 NFL draft picks. 7 the year before. The number one wide receiver in the NFL draft next year was on the team these past couple of seasons, and we still managed to only go 11 and 12. Hopefully that changes. Obviously, a Saturday night live stream, we're starting a little bit earlier than we normally do because tomorrow morning we will be heading overseas for my first ever trip abroad. Haley and I will be going to England tomorrow, and we have a ton of content lined up for you already ready to go tomorrow night. You will see our Miles Brennan film study. We say hi to Boogie. We say hi to the Master Blaster. We say hi to Skipper. We say hi to Michael. We say hi to a lot of you, right? As always, we are presented by the Presley Collection and PresleyCollection.com. What's going on, Chris? I've been talking to you a lot today because Chris is a big NFL draft guy. I am too. And our friend Anthony Starr Presley is as well. Presley Collection, PresleyCollection.com. Don't forget our PHL watches are available for pre-order right now. The DBU watch, you get $30 off that price right there if you type in the promo code PHL. It's very key to do that. PHL, you get this fresh as you know what watch for $99. You can't beat it. Presley Collection, PresleyCollection.com. Okay. What it do, Doc? Good to see you. The Master Blaster. So we're going to have a good time tonight. Once again, a lot of people are enjoying what they saw from the NFL draft. But what I want to do is, if you look at the title of the video, you see Brian Kelly win total versus NFL draft picks. So if you go all the way back to when PHL actually started and you go to, I believe, when we were still numbering episodes, you go look at episode, I believe it was number 9, 8, one of those. You can go look at our initial NFL draft study. And I want to share with you these numbers right here. Okay. So let's first talk about the players that were drafted. And the biggest shock actually for me kind of sort of came, tea and crumpets all day, kind of sort of came at the end. Okay. Derek Stingley, Ed Ingram, Cordell Flott, Tyrion Davis-Price, Cade York, Neil Farrell, Damon Clark, Austin Deculus, Chasen Hines. But Andre Anthony, I did not think he would get drafted. He gets drafted right there at the end of this NFL draft. Pretty freaking crazy that Andre Anthony was so talented coming off a torn ACL at 25 years of age. And the Buccaneers still said, look, we saw what this guy did at the end of last year. Why not take a flyer on him? We have enough LSU players already. We have an LSU player on our team that scored a touchdown, and he never even played football at LSU, and Cyril Grayson. Why not we go on ahead and get Andre Anthony, who, actually came into class after Leonard Fournette left. So it's really crazy to think. What's up, Skipper, PHL fam, in the hizzy, baby. So that's what's really crazy. What's up, Doc Knock? What'd I do? It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. I did not think Andre Anthony would get drafted, but after the ACL injury, he ran one of the best 40-yard dash times you will ever see for a guy his size coming off an ACL. So honestly, Andre, freak athlete, and he obviously had a really good close to his LSU career when he switched to that single-digit number. It was very interesting. So, for me, I'm really happy for all these guys. I still stand by what I've said on pretty much every conversation I've had. I've been on so many shows talking about the LSU NFL draft lineup card. And, I was on with Jay Hill and Mario. I was on with Alex on the Bayou in England. the number one question that I got asked was who was my sleeper in the draft, and it was Tyrion Davis-Price. I thought he would go higher than what the draft boards were saying. I did not know he would go that high. I did not know that the 49ers would select him over Brian Robinson of Alabama, and I'm happy as heck that they did. I think TDP is going to fit in really well at San Francisco, and he couldn't go to a better fit. So yeah, really excited about TDP and this opportunity for him. Because, while I was saying that about TDP, when it comes to like a backup level running back like that, scheme fit is more important than the actual ability of the running back itself. And honestly, if it doesn't work, it wasn't meant to be. This is the absolute best fit for him. So it is really, really impressive. But I do want to show you this data. Once again, Super Chat, Venmo, Cash App, get your question in. We're not going to go potentially as long as we normally do, but that's perfectly okay, baby. I want to show you this right here, okay? I know we're excited that all these LSU players got drafted, but if you actually go look at the data, and this is why I was referencing the video when we first started the channel, LSU, the year, if you go look at their win and losses, if you go look at their 10-win seasons, they often correlate when they have 6 or fewer draft picks from the year before. 7 or fewer, you still saw a good bit of 10-win seasons. But as you can see, LSU's 4 national championship years, they average 4.5 NFL draft picks lost. In national championship years, I'm saying years that they actually made it to the national championship game, which, of course, is 4 in the modern era. Since 2003, LSU has won 11 games 7 times. They average 4.8 draft picks lost. So as you can see, the lower the amount of draft picks the year before, the better the or the LSU season was the next year. And it makes sense, right? The fewer picks that you lose, the better off you are the next year, right? Since 2003, LSU has won 10 games 11 times. They average 5.4 NFL draft picks lost, okay? LSU has had 3 10-win seasons after losing 7 or more picks, but twice of those times were 7. And as you see here at the bottom, LSU has had 1 10-win season after losing A plus 10 draft picks from the year before, and that was that really underrated 2013 team with Jeremy Hill, Jarvis, and Odell with Matt in year number 2. So you could see that there is some correlation. Now, what's very interesting, what's up, Jacob? Your shirt is in the mail. Really excited. I can't wait to see you in a PHL shirt with the little one. This is also something very key about the draft picks, okay? Let's put them back up on the board. And honestly, I mean, Sting really didn't play at all last year. Jason Hines, you guys have seen all the film studies that we've done on him. I think the Patriots got him because they know they can coach him up. The Patriots have had some of the best offensive line coaching going back to Dante Sarnecchia, which is a big reason why they had the Tom Brady run that they did. It's because they always had great offensive line coaching. So the Patriots, they think they can coach Jason Hines up. But as many of you know, he made a lot of mistakes. So if the mental aspect comes along with Jason Hines, he's going to be really good because he is perfectly built to be a guard. But we'll see. And, Andre Anthony didn't play a whole lot last year. So, look, are all these players really good? Absolutely. But of the players that are listed here, only a few were actually all SEC, all American guys for a majority of the season, right? So it is important that, yes, LSU did lose 10 draft picks, and there's no excuse to lose 10 draft picks and go 11 and 12 in their final 2 seasons. But at the same time, there's not Patrick Peterson in this group. There's not, Joe Burrow or Justin Jefferson, right? As far as a producer is concerned. So it's very interesting that it was the second most LSU draft picks ever. But, some of these guys were very, very good players. Obviously, Neil Farrell was elite last year. Damon Clark was elite last year. Those are the 2 best players on this list just based on their last year production, along with Tyrion Davis-Price. Flott, Ingram were up and down. Obviously, Ed Ingram was, really good towards the end of the season. And Flott kind of got banged up at the end of the year, but he had a really good start. So I would say probably half these guys were good for a majority of the season. And of course, Cade York is arguably the best kicker ever at LSU. And I'm very happy that Cade York and Evan McPherson from the famous LSU 2020 Florida game will get to kick against each other again for the next decade, right? And of course, McPherson missed his kick in the fog, but our dear beloved Cade York, of course, made his. Okay. So, looking forward to next year's draft. Ojulari and Butte. Yeah, and look, Plum, I do my Twitter and Instagram, but hit me up if you're trying to design my website. I'm certainly interested. This is, something. I don't have the final SEC tally in front of me. I've been so busy packing for England and cutting up videos for while I'm gone. As far as next year, I would say Keyshawn's the only lock of our draftable guys to go in the first round. And I think most of you would agree. I'm thinking of the list now. Keyshawn's the only guy that is for sure going to be a first round pick next year. Obviously, no running backs. I don't think running backs will ever go first round unless you're just unreal. Let's see, our offensive line. Maybe Frazier's only year 2, right? Or is he year 3? But really, no one realistically on the offensive line. Only Keyshawn, really. Ojulari's obviously got the opportunity. I think for me, if Mike Jones is an off-ball linebacker, you saw how hard it was. Nakobe freaking Dean didn't get drafted in the first round. So let's see. Yeah, I think Keyshawn's the only lock to go in the first round. But it's hard to go in the first round. It's hard. Really, really hard. Okay? It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. So Chris has a final tally for us, 53 for the SEC. Yeah, Nakobe Dean was injury related. Even though if there was no injury related, I still would have taken Devin Lloyd over Nakobe Dean because that dude is a freak. I watched him, studying Jaden Daniels. I was like, holy crap, this dude is really good. Ollie Gay's definitely draftable. He's got traits. I think his game is actually better suited for the NFL than college, simply because there's going to be more NFL teams that run more hand in the dirt, base 4-3 kind of stuff, especially next year as far as the scheme fit for what Matt House is going to do. But what we do know is Ali Gay has surged up draft boards last year in 2020. So yeah, I just think Keyshawn right now is your only for sure first rounder. Mason would get. It depends on how dominant he would be, but he would have the opportunity to go first round next year if he can come out. And I could argue Jaquelin Roy has some first round potential as well, just because he is a pass rushing defensive tackle. And that's obviously more important, stopping the pass and stopping the run in the NFL. But yeah, obviously BJ's got the traits to go first. What's funny is LSU sent him to the combine just to let him see what it was like. So that's obviously really cool as well. So it's always fun to do the draft thing, but to keep it with the current LSU roster, that does make you worry because of the stats we just showed you, how difficult it is to win the next year in the SEC when you lose a lot of draft picks the year before, right? 7 was always that magical number for LSU, according to my data. Only once has LSU had a 10-win season when they lost 8 or more draft picks, and they lost 10 from this last year's team. But once again, before we move on, the 10 players selected, a lot of them are athletic projects. And I do think, what the NFL draft is telling you is, and and this is just the truth here. The NFL draft is telling you that they think that the guys that we had last year were underdrafted and very underrated. So it is very, very interesting. Ojolari having a top 10, I would confidently say he's a first round lock. Michael, it's tough, right? Because first round locks sometimes fall out of the first round, right? A perfect example of this is Arden Key. Arden Key was the number one pick on most mock drafts after year two, and he should have been, right? And he's still in the NFL. He's still a really good pro. But there's a lot that can happen for you to fall out of the first round. There are so many guys that are first round locks. Team needs change. There's so much variance. It's hard to be just an unquestionable first round lock. It's really hard. Now, that's not a knock at BJ Ojolari. It's a high threshold to meet. Now, if I were to pick someone on this team to be the next most likely to go in the first round, I would definitely say Ojolari after Kayshawn. It's just hard to say that this player is going to be first round lock. Got to take the Bulldogs out for the final. Hard to watch after the late rally we had. Oh, is this baseball related? Is LSU playing Georgia? I keep thinking there's something. Why? I don't know if it's a pimple. I don't have a mirror in front of me. So yeah. Mm. And this is also true, KMC. As far as like the stat that I just shared a minute ago. This is the first time you could bring in 15 transfers to supplement that loss. That +7 rule saves us. It's true. And that's a really good point, right? That number does change now that you have immediate transfers. So that data I shared is a little bit different now that college football is so different. But it is what it is, right? As far as where we are right now as a sport. So yeah. Will Brooks and Fouché be draft eligible? Do you think they could play their way into a first round pick this season? It's hard because thanks for the super chat here. And I'm glad you actually super chatted this Ultra Raider because I actually did cut up my first Vegas projection piece. And it's already done. So that will air the next week I'm in England. So I'm going to England for 2 weeks. That will air not this coming Wednesday, but the next Wednesday. Actually, I might do it the next Monday. We'll see. So be on the lookout for that, Ultra Raider. My prediction for the Florida State game, I do think LSU is going to win this game. I'm still not sold on Florida State, even though their offensive line coach was someone that we looked at for the Brad Davis role. I do like what they have at quarterback. They do have some mobility at quarterback. They do have some juice there. We always know this. Florida State is always going to have multiple guys that are first-round talents, as we saw this year with the end that slid to the Jets late in the first round. Florida State's always going to be littered with talent. Cam Akers, Jalen Ramsey, and they could just be out there on bad teams, right? So, that's something you got to keep an eye out for because it's never been lack of talent at Florida State, especially in the ACC. So I still feel comfortable about it. I don't know. Let's go 27-21. And this is also true right here. Everyone has a chance to play into a first round pick. Also, that's why, first round lock is tough to say. It is hard to say that somebody's going to be a first round lock simply because if you view someone as a first round lock, Well, knowing that you're a first round lock can lead to complacency, right? And you can have a guy that outworks you, like a Joe Burrow or a Clyde Edwards-Helaire or Justin Jefferson. None of those three guys, one would guess would have been a first round pick, right? Queen too. Chason probably was a first round pick before the season began just because of his traits. Um, Still, it's nuts. It's nuts. But Chason was coming off an injury as well. It's crazy what can happen, right? So, need your score prediction. Yeah, let's go 27-21. But as far as this is concerned, Michael, you have to look at the types of players that get drafted in the first round. Okay. I think from this point forward, first round pick isn't going to have as much luster to it as it used to for this reason. Because the NFL is so analytically savvy now, they aren't going to draft certain positions in the first round. So once again, Mike Jones could go out there and win the butt kiss, but since he's an off-ball linebacker, they might fade him. So Devin Lloyd was the first off-ball linebacker to go, and it was in the 20s, right? John Emery could go out there and just destroy it, and he could be a first-round back, but running backs just don't go in the first round anymore, right? You have to be exceptional at certain positions to go in the first round, right? So, yeah, I mean, like I would say 8 or 9 years ago, Kyle Hamilton wouldn't have slid as far as he slid, even if the slow 40-yard dash time happened, because he plays a traditional safety role. Tyler Lindenbaum, a center, he was the best center in college football the past 2 years. And, he waited till the mid-20s. There's just some positions that just don't go as high as others. And the positions that do go really high is wide receiver, which is why Kayshawn is a first-round lock. Even if he doesn't have the season that we all expect him to have, the early breakout age and the speed is just going to get him drafted high. Uh, Wide receivers, corners, quarterbacks, offensive tackles. Those are the four positions that are always going to get drafted high. And depending on the class, edge rusher. If you're not one of those five positions, you're not going to get drafted high. You're just not. You have to be exceptional. You do. So that's just where the league's going. We had 6 wide receivers go in the top 20, 6, and a lot of them aren't that good. Jahan Dotson, not that good. I am not sold on Chris Olave. I am not sold on Chris Olave. Man, he just wasn't my wide receiver 1. Closer to my wide receiver 3 or 4, right? How I had it ranked was, well, I won't get into that, right? I won't get into the Saints draft because this is an LSU channel. But if you guys want to talk some Saints, feel free to super chat because I will happily give you my evaluation of the Saints first round. Hadn't paid attention so much to the later rounds. I know they drafted the safety out of Tennessee. Third round picks from Tennessee have worked out in the past for the Saints. So I don't know too much about the rest of the picks because I was so focused in today on getting ready for this live stream tonight and getting ready to go to a new country tomorrow. Now, I hate to do this. I really do. Okay. But I do have to share this news and it sucks. It's no other way around it. We did lose, the biggest member of our PHL family. King Robert did go be with the Lord. Obviously, I didn't say that well because I don't want to start crying. And as you guys know, King Robert was not someone that liked the attention to be drawn on him. You guys saw the very, generous donations he gave to the channel. But more importantly, he and I became really close friends where we were FaceTiming often. We were texting often. And I lost a really close friend last night. And it sucks because I never got to meet King Robert. Because of the Rona and the Omicron, I could not go visit my friend. So, it sucks. That I was going to lead with the live stream. He would have hated that. He would have hated that I led with the live stream with this news. So, he's probably hating this right now that I'm doing this. So it sucks. It's part of it. Life moves on. And yeah, so this was King Robert when he played back at De La Salle. So here he is right here. But you know how he was. He was, even when he donated, he didn't want to question. He just liked the channel and he loved all you guys. So, you know, it just sucks. Really, really sucks. Skipper, I know you and Robert liked each other and that, Doc, it sucks. But yeah. Yeah, it stinks. It really does. So I talked to his sister this morning. He passed away peacefully with family by his side, and so I wanted it. So it was kind of strange because I wasn't a part of Robert's family. I've never met anybody in his family. I've gotten to talk to him a few times over the phone, but he and I relationship were just like person to person. Like I was never part of his like inner circle atmosphere. So, it was kind of tough, to keep up with what everything was going on. And I was going to visit him a few weeks ago, but things just got really bad. And then they tried to, do whatever they could to keep him alive. So he started traveling and, it stinks. It stinks. So, he was a good guy, and he hates us. He hates us so bad. But we move along. You guys know he would absolutely positively hate that I was even talking about him. But I know how much you guys cared about. Good to see you, Towboat. Plum, you guys know King Robert, Tony. It's a big part of what we did, man. But yeah, I know Big Al. I know he's not in here. He asked about him, a few weeks ago. So yeah, I'll keep you up to date on everything else. I talked to his sister. She texted me at like 3 a.m. With this news. So it stinks. It really stinks. But the one thing he would want is for us to keep this channel moving. There's few things he loved in life more than this channel. And that always made me really, really happy. So it's good. It's good. So, yeah. But it is strange. I'm very open with you guys. It is strange. I never got to meet this man. And wasn't for a lack of trying, but, you can always say, well, I should have just said F it. I should have just said, I should have just gone. But it's true. And it's true, Emma Cat. That is the one thing we all have in common. LSU football, and then we'll all meet our maker. But anyway, we were talking about the quarterbacks. That was one of our last conversations. I think this is a good time for Megan. But yeah, as far as the quarterbacks are concerned, I did finish my Miles Brennan film study for tomorrow night. So I am really excited about that. I am really excited for you guys to see how I felt about Miles. I will say this, right? Miles Brennan looked a little better in the spring game than I initially thought. I thought at first his spring game was just very meh, but I was trying to make sure that I wasn't just talking myself into saying that Miles had a better spring game than I initially thought. But we'll see. I think KMC, so we'll do Miles Brennan tomorrow night, and then we'll look at Walker Howard snaps next Sunday. But if you guys don't want me to air the film studies, I won't do it. I do what you guys want to watch. So I've already cut up the Miles Brennan film study, already finished the Walker Howard one. So tomorrow night, you'll get Miles Brennan. The next Sunday, you will get Walker Howard. So it is very interesting, right? Because, the spring game was such a small sample. So, yeah, for me, I thought Miles played a lot better. I really did than I initially thought. The thing about Miles Brennan, I think that is kind of hard for us as LSU fans is that, like he said, this is his sixth LSU spring game. So, or his fifth, either one. It's just so many. And something else about Miles Brennan is that he doesn't play the most aesthetic brand of football, right? Uh, well, I don't know. KMC might not want the film studies to be aired. I loved my Walker Howard one I cut earlier today, but for me, I think I think for me, Miles Brennan looked better. He looked a lot better than I initially thought. The second thing I would say is because he doesn't play such an aesthetic brand of football, it does get a little boring. All right. Garrett Nussmeier has real pop to his game, right? His arm looks live. He is healthy. This is Garrett Nussmeier, who honestly has no injury history. Thank you so much, Danny, for your super chat. I really appreciate you. Fish and chips on Danny, huh? Danny, I'll say this, Danny, about you. You're so special to me and Haley in so many different ways. And the second thing, Danny, is and I love how you support all LSU content creators, but in particular, you support me. It really goes a long way. And yeah, me and King Robert talked about you as well, Danny, as being a big part of what we were doing here on PHL. It's very interesting. My thing about Miles Brennan is because it looks so. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a good. Maybe Sam Howell. I could see that. I could see Sam being a good comparison to Miles, but yeah, I'm trying to think. You know who Miles reminds me of? Maybe Jake Delhomme a little bit. It didn't look always the prettiest, but he could get it done. Maybe that's a good comparison. But I that's why I think, even his deep completions are sometimes just a little bit behind the receiver, right? But Nuss just plays with so much juice, right? He's got some real pop in his arm. And he is very active. And something else about Nuss is he is very healthy. He only has one serious injury to his name, right? And that was a thumb injury, and that wasn't really serious. He got hurt his senior year of high school football, and he had to miss his playoff game, and his team lost, right? So, that's something else about Nuss. No injuries. Something else about Jaden Daniels, no injury history. Walker Howard, obviously, it was in high school, but he is coming off an injury. And I will say this, rewatching Walker Howard snaps, he still wasn't. Some of the stuff I saw him do in high school did not look or translate to what I saw in the spring game footage. And I do think some of that was injury related. And I'll explain it in the film study next Sunday. But yeah, you'll see tomorrow night. I think Miles was a little bit better than what I thought. I also think part of why Miles didn't play so well is because, well, Fitzgerald West had some really bad snaps. So I kind of don't want Danny to watch a film study tomorrow because, Fitzgerald West is a true freshman. He does the dead ball snap, and it caused some issues. So yeah. Now, let me ask you guys this, okay? Now, and I want you to answer this with an open mind. Okay, of the players that played in the spring game, who quietly stood out to you? And you could throw in the rest of the spring. Who was the one player? Comment in the comment section right now. Who was the one player that stood to you in the spring game? Dang, Hal ran a 5:07.40. Did y'all see Michael? I didn't see it. I got to see the video. Mason Smith doesn't count. We know he's good. Oh, that's a good one, Towboat. Pin. But John, I wasn't trying to jump on you, but I want you to give me a sleeper. But I saw this today. I saw Michael Vick ran a 4.81 at like 41 years of age. That's crazy. And Robert Griffin III ran a 4.48. Is that true? I didn't see I saw it on Twitter. Once again, I was packing and cutting film. And by packing, I mean Haley was doing most of the packing because I can't pack worth you know what because I'm so disorganized. So, Danny, your $100 super chat's going to Haley. Huh? I like this one from Chris Trey Bradford. Honestly, KMC, Mekhi Gardner was great. Not good, great in the spring game. He swallowed BTJ whole. He really did. And BTJ made one amazing, unbelievable grab on a perfectly thrown ball from Jaden Daniels. But Gardner's hand was right there. The ball just went right, like he had him covered. Gardner looks good. Yeah, Danny, you get to pick the next topic. Thank you for your super chat. How about it says Pin, Greg Pin? Oh yeah, Campbell. Like it. I love me some Will Campbell. Dang, Jacob says Nuss. He's on the Nuss bus. I love it, man. I'd love to get Nuss on the channel. I'd love to get him on here. And I won't ask about the bowl game. I won't. I don't think if, and I know I spent a lot of time talking about Nuss playing in the bowl game. I don't think it's even newsworthy anymore, right? But yeah, Nuss, you can see sometimes just that little bit of motivation just makes you work that much harder. And I mean, just the zip on his passes are really good. It's really good. Now, I do have my skepticisms, but still. Let me see. What else did I want to get to tonight? Oh, yeah, I guess we're the only 74 people that didn't go to this Garth Brooks concert tonight. And I hope some of you right now are listening to me and saying, holy crap, that was tonight. I had a ticket to that because I was one of the 256,000 people that got tickets to this show. Operator, would you put me on? If you don't like country, you got to love that song to be a fan of this channel. Right. I know it's cliche. You know, I'm not a cliche guy. But still. Let's go to Danny's super chat question here. I've heard that Bama's defense is insane this season. Our offensive line struggled with the early D-line in spring. I really hope they get it gelled and ready before September. So let's talk about this. So this is how the content's going to get scheduled out for next week. Okay. So Tomorrow you will get the Miles Brennan film study. All right. On Tuesday, we are going to be doing a live stream from England, and I'm still trying to figure out what the best time is because I got to figure out what our travel schedule looks like because we'll be there Monday morning at 7:30. But we will be doing a live stream from England, and I'm going to try and do it during the day. I'm going to try and do it around. It'll be noon this time, but it'll be 6 p.m. in England. Okay. So be on the lookout for that. I think it'd be really cool to do a live stream from England with maybe the London Bridge in the background. I think that would be really cool for the channel. So on Wednesday, you will get the offensive depth chart piece. All right. Thursday, we'll try and do another live stream. And then Friday, I'm going to drop the defensive depth chart piece. Okay. So this would be the first thing I would say about this, Danny, because I touched on this in the defensive depth chart piece. The offensive line, outside of the early portion of the game, dominated. They really did. As the game moved on, the offensive line played really well. Now, here's what I'll say about that, Danny. They did not have to deal with any stunts. They did not have to deal with any blitzes. There was some kind of sort of blitzing, but there really wasn't. So it was kind of easy for them. And it was also very easy for the quarterbacks because if you're a quarterback and you know they're playing man coverage, well, you know what's going to happen. It was kind of like Brian Kelly was trolling us a little bit, forcing Matt House to play man coverage on every snap for man rush, because that is what we did defensively. All right. And you saw what happened to our defense in the spring game, right? If you run the same play over and over on defense like we did for a year and a half, you'll see what happens, right? But still, our offensive line did a really good job. Pass protection overall was good. It was really good. The second thing is, that makes me feel a little bit better about the offensive line. But to your first part of the super chat here, Danny, the Bama defense is going to be really good. So they returned Battle, a really good safety, and they get Kool-Aid McKinstry back, and then they get that, the other corner that transferred. I forgot his name. And they have arguably the best pass rushing duo I've seen in the SEC in a long time with Will Anderson and Dallas Turner. Okay? That's Bama. Their pass rush. I mean, Will Anderson is the best SEC defensive end I've ever seen. I think he's not really an end. He's an outside linebacker. Still, I think he's better than Clowney. I think he's better than anyone I've ever seen in the SEC. He was that good this past year. And Dallas Turner's really good too. So, yeah, it's going to be really tough. They're going to have a great pass rush. We're probably not going to be able to protect against it. But what I'll say to the contrary, Danny, is yes, Brian Kelly's big struggles have come against top 5, top 10 teams, but BK will coach against that, and we will do a better job against it. Something else that is very key, Danny, that I think is really going to help LSU out when they play Alabama this year is, yes, our team in this first year isn't going to be championship level, but, and here's the key, this is a big but, like big butts, and I cannot lie. Denbrock just faced this defense in the college football playoff. We just play this defense as well. So even though we have brand new coaches coming in, at least the guy who called plays against it has some familiarity. So that'll help us out against that defense. It's going to be tough, though. It's going to be a tough game. Of course, we get it after a bye. Of course, we have not played them as well in our building as we have theirs, which is ironic. So it's crazy. Liam just signed to the Patriots. Here's the thing. If Liam Shanahan's from the Boston region, also they signed Liam Shanahan and Chasen Hines. If you've watched my film studies the past couple of seasons, you know how many times I've pointed out where they struggle I wish him nothing but the best. But that's Bill Belichick for you. Belichick will see potential and bring you in and coach you up. Stay. Once again, not this Wednesday, but the next. You'll see my Vegas projection breakdown of actual wins and losses. I'll share this stat with you, though, right? Let me pull this in. I'm going to try and pull this in for you right now. I don't want to, I've cut so many videos today. It's crazy. Let me pull up this stat from ESPN.com. Evans. So I want to share with you this, okay? This is from Pete Thamel's piece on ESPN.com. Notre Dame has won 94.2% of the time as a favorite over the past 5 years, according to ESPN stats and information, better than any power conference team. That includes Kelly winning his final 40 games as a favorite at Notre Dame. Okay? Now, here's the thing. All right? How many games is LSU going to be favored next year? That's the question you got to answer. How many games will LSU be favored in 2022? Okay. Slight favorite over Florida State. I could see that. Favored over Southern. I could see that. Favored over Mississippi State. I could see that. Favor over New Mexico. I could see that. So LSU will be favored in their first 4 games. So, or not. Auburn on the road, I could see that being a coin flip. Tennessee at home. Tennessee coming off a bye week. LSU still probably slightly favored. It depends on if LSU's 5-0 at that point. If they are 5-0, they're going to be slightly favored. At Florida, LSU will probably be a slight underdog there. Ole Miss, probably a slight favorite over the Rebels. And then underdog, favorite, underdog. Once again, it depends on if Arkansas lives up to the hype. This is the most hyped Arkansas team in quite some time. Well, Danny, this isn't the national media. I'm talking about like Vegas favorites. And, Vegas, if anything, Vegas does not believe in narratives. If there's one group of people that does not believe in narratives, it's the people that have to build their livelihoods off of it. I don't know about this. I could see Florida being decent in year 1. They did good in the portal. They bring over Osiris Torrance and Montrell Johnson. They have a good quarterback, explosive quarterback. Defensively is where I think they're going to have issues. But we'll see. This is also true. Okay. Bama's offensive line has issues. They have major issues. Okay. So we'll see. We'll see. Master Blaster, don't wish that on me. You're preparing me for the jet lag, Master Blaster? Really? Ooh. Zay? Noted Max Johnson haters, eh? No, John, I'll say Will had a really good spring game. Good to see old John Gaines. John is also a member of the PHL T-shirt club. So let's see. We've had 2 super chatters up to this point. That's always great. What's going on? Was that the juicer?
Yeah.
Oh, this one's already fully juiced.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get the baby up here.
Have you told them?
About what?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a baby. Look at that. Oh, my God.
I'm the shuggy in the world.
That's just too much. Who wants to dog sit for 2 weeks? Danny said. Danny will take her. Danny, we're shipping her to Georgia tonight.
No. I'm staying with her Mimi and her Bobo.
Danny already paid for our first order of fish and chips.
Oh, nice. Get up there, baby.
Okay, so here we go. We got our lunch. Make sure you sleep on their schedule. You will struggle the whole time. Arriving at 7:30 a.m.
Sleep the whole fight. That's what I've told him, Danny.
Well, I need some nights.
I've packed you promethazine, so he'll knock
Ah,
out.
finally, I'm getting like the former LSU players. Okay, we're FedExing her tonight, Danny. There should be a service where you could FedEx an animal. How has that not been made yet? Florida has no wide receivers of note and a questionable defense. I agree.
Do you have any singles? I don't have any singles.
I don't have any singles. Just trying to.
I'm gonna have to go to freaking Walmart, babe.
No.
Well, you'll just have to. How many water bottles do you absolutely need in here?
I gotta stay hydrated. When you're talking for hours at a time, you gotta stay.
I'll go get it. So you can get it from your mom's house. That's your fault.
No one wants to go to Walmart at 8:03 Central on a school night. No, I'm just kidding. It's Saturday night. Not freaking Walmart. Something else I wanted to get into, right? I do feel, as far as LSU going into next year, I do feel that we will struggle some starting off with our 3-4 defense, because I don't know if our personnel matches that, what we need to do as far as fitting the run with the 3-4, right? I think, our recruiting of how the defensive line is going to look is going to change, right? Now, it's not to say that our defensive line isn't talented. It's obviously very talented, but there's a piece of me that's crossing my fingers that Ed Orgeron magically becomes correct about Bryce Langston being the next Michael Brockers. I am a little worried about defending the run. And I know we should be more worried about defending the pass, simply because, well, passes analytically are better plays than runs. It's more important to defend against the pass. It's more important to defend against deep passes. I am a little worried about our run fits. I am. I really, really am. So we'll see. We'll see how we fit the run. I know for us, it could be tough, looking back at these last couple of seasons, knowing how we've been gashed in the running game. As far as defending the run is concerned, you have to have bodies. You got to have some chunk in that middle. And it's interesting. So, you go look at the 3-4 that we ran under Aranda. Our 3 interior players were big bodies, right? And now, the 3 guys that we have running our 3-man front aren't big bodies. And I'm not just saying like Tyler Shelvin size bodies, but, Ali Gay is not necessarily your 3-4 defensive end type. Now he is in a passing situation, but that's not his fit. Same thing with Savion Jones. It's not, their ideal position. So, we'll see. I am a little worried about our numbers on the defensive line. We are a deep unit, but when you're fitting the run, it's tough because we are so used. Our defensive line is so accustomed to getting gashed in the running game. So we do have to get more physical. We do have to get tougher. We also have to get smarter when it comes to fitting our gaps and reading rush angles. If not, we're going to get countered to death. So we'll see. What's up, Michael B? Good to see you. Let's go to Danny. QB1 will not be determined until after the first 3 games. True. I can see that. I have, just a hard time believing that any quarterback, and I hope I'm wrong about this, that any quarterback is going to be able to separate themselves during the fall, right? Now, if Garrett plays like he did in the spring game throughout fall practice, he's going to have to be your starter, right? But the likelihood of that is small, right? Because he's going to, as fall practice continues, defense is going to start installing more of their exotic stuff. I have a tough time believing that the defense that we saw a lot of spring is going to be the defense that Matt House is going to run. I do think we'll stay mostly in that 3-4 formation, but I don't think it's going to be anything like we saw in the spring game. I don't think it's going to be anything like we even saw in the practices. But if Nuss is separating himself, the one thing about Garrett Nussmeier that does make it a little bit easier to give him the nod at quarterback is one simple truth. That guy behind the scenes is really well liked in that LSU building. He really is. So, that makes it tough. It makes it easier to hand him the keys. Because if the locker room is behind, Garrett Nussmeier, then it's easier. It makes it easier to hand the keys off to someone else compared to someone else that isn't as headstrong or isn't as, vocal when it comes to supporting teammates. We've seen Garrett do that even when he was on the bench last year, one of the biggest cheerleaders and supporters. So we'll see. Yeah, Michael, this is a conundrum right here. Is it really rational for us to believe that all 4 of the quarterbacks will start? No, not all 4 quarterbacks are going to play. Walker Howard is very unlikely to play. I could see him getting some snaps against Southern at the end if we're blowing him out. Still, the likelihood of Walker Howard playing at all next year is very little. But the likelihood that all 4 of the quarterbacks are still here next year is crazy. Now, as far as Amacat here, in my heart of hearts, I really do believe this. Now, what I'm about to say is just purely speculation because it's just how one man feels. Okay? This is not analysis. This is just how I would view it if I was a head coach of the football team, right? I don't think Brian Kelly knows who his guy is. I honestly don't. Now, why do I feel this way? Because there are just too many variables and weaknesses of all 3 of the starters, per se, that makes it really difficult to identify who you can win with the most. Right? So, for instance, Miles Brennan has major weaknesses. No mobility. How do you feel about him playing a full season? Well, you can't feel that great about it. Garrett Nussmeier. He had 2 turnover-worthy plays in the spring game. Got a little lucky on both of the turnover-worthy plays. Jaden Daniels. Mechanics were a little all over the place. Busy, didn't have a lot of drops. But, Tom Luganbill, the ESPN analyst who was calling the game, said that the mechanics and the intermediate stuff can get a little weird, can get a little fishy sometimes. So, as far as this is concerned, I think the team might have an idea who actually performs the best during practice. But even I don't think they know either. I really don't. Once again, I don't know. I also think Pegasus, if it were clear that the team knew who the guy was, then the quarterbacks themselves would also know. Quarterbacks aren't delusional. They want to play. So if that's the case, then one of those guys would have already transferred. If they already saw the writing on the wall, they would have already said, or they would have already gone. They would have. But it's tough. It's really tough to say. So I want to show with a few of you weren't in here the other night when I did this. So a lot of you saw our Jaden Daniels film study from earlier last week. And I didn't include this throw. So I'll play this really quickly from the this was I accidentally cut this play out of my Jaden Daniels film study. So I want to show you this really quickly about some of the issues that Jaden Daniels had in the intermediate passing game. Let's go. So I accidentally cut this Jaden Daniels play out of my film study, and it's pretty simple. Even though this was a completion, one of his 3, this is a very inaccurately thrown football to Jeray Jenkins. Just the short of it, if you hit him in stride where he can actually catch and run with it, it's a first down. Instead, he had to dive for this football. So instead of first down, it ended up being 2nd and 1. And that's obviously something that we don't want. We want to get as many yards as we possibly can. Now, full disclosure, sometimes, especially in the red zone, you do want to throw the football to the ground to protect your receiver. But right here, you don't. Now, once again, the graphics in the way, we can't see the footwork here. But the protection's really good. We're running 3 slants right here. And Jaden actually does some really good processing. We don't want to throw the football here because Jay Ward's right here. We also don't want to throw the football here because Jay Ward breaks off this round. He would have picked this off for a touchdown. So really good processing to throw the football to the right player, just not great execution, okay? So this is why, this, even though it's a completion, which is a good thing, it's not necessarily a good throw. So, yeah, it's tough. Jared, this is not this isn't an all guys club. No. What's up, fellas? Let's go. Second super chat. Well, third, including Danny's. Let's go. I was hoping Who makes a bigger impact at linebacker this year? Perkins, Penn, or Baskerville? I thought it was odd Baskerville didn't play much in spring. No, that I don't know why. I got booted out for a second. I think that was me. That was on me. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I don't know what happened. That was kind of strange. I guess the channel is anti linebacker talk. Everyone talks about, the linebacker position. Once again, PHL shirt. Shout out to Roger. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened there, Matthew. They I guess YouTube is anti-linebacker. We're a linebacker channel, baby. Left side. Left side. Left side. Left side. Left side. Thank you. I knew Towboat had my back. I knew it. I knew Towboat to have my back. Not only did he super chat, he was the first to get it. Towboat. Okay, so Towboat with the lovely little one right here. That's good stuff. Shout out to all the super dads and the super granddads of PHL and the super moms and super grandmoms of PHL. You see, Danny, I am unlike Jared. PHL welcomes all sexes to the channel. You'll never hear me say, "Oh, what up, fellas?" Ha, 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 ha. Left side. By the way, Denzel's best movie is Glory, then Man on Fire. Training Day, it was good. Remember the Titans? It was good. They had the iconic scene. Remember the Titans was good. But Glory and Man on Fire, if you want some Denzel films. John Q is a little underrated, but still. Anyway, let's change with the poll question. That's why you got to come to a live stream. You never know what's going to happen. You never know. So look, our poll question kind of evened itself out at exactly 100 votes. Some of you were shocked that we had 100 other 100 votes. It was about 50-50. Were you shocked? I was shocked that LSU had 10 picks. I don't know how you could say otherwise. 10 picks, that's a lot. How many? Okay. Before we get to Jared's poll question here, Matthew's poll question here, let me go ahead and type it out. I'm not going to include Harold Perkins in this poll because I don't think he's going to play off-ball linebacker next year. So don't include Harold Perkins. Don't include BJ Ojulari in this poll question, okay? Actually, I just won't include the other option. You'll see. Micah Baskerville. Jones. Let's do this. Jared, thank you for the super chat, my friend. All right. So keep this in mind. All right. Off-ball linebacker does not include the jack linebacker. Okay, so for the poll question, BJ Ojolari is not an off-ball linebacker. He is a jack linebacker. He is on the line of scrimmage. Okay. Off-ball linebacker. Think traditional linebacker. Think Devin White. Think Perry Riley. Think Jacob Coutreira. Think Allen Highsmith. Think Brady James. That kind of linebacker. There were some random linebackers mixed in there. Lamine Barrow. I just gave away my Deary Beckwith autograph card. So yeah, who is LSU's best off-ball linebacker? Answer in the poll question. Jacob, your shirt is in the mail. Once again, Jacob, this is what I always say. If you do get a PHL shirt, don't forget to take a photo and send it to me. I like to include you guys in my content. It makes me happy. So there you go. PHL dudes, let's go. Thank you so much. Roman J. Esquire was a great Denzel movie no one talks about. I have never heard of this movie. I have never heard of this Denzel film. You know you're great when you're an A-list actor, and there's a bunch of movies that you do that no one's ever heard of. I don't think a lot of people have ever even heard of Glory. But to add on to it, I also think that movie where Denzel, I think it was him and Channing Tatum, where they were on that fast train, where they were trying to stop the train. I think that was Denzel. I don't watch too many movies anymore. Still, Denzel is my favorite actor of all time. Him and Tom Hanks. I like Tom Hanks a lot too. Texans are NFL LSU. Saints are OSU. Are y'all good with that? Cody, what's good? NFL LSU. I would say the Buccaneers are NFL LSU now, right? They drafted Andre Anthony. And that's not to say Andre Anthony is a bad player. I'm just shocked that he got drafted, right? They must have been really blown away with this film and this 40-yard dash. But coming off an ACL, it's crazy. I would say NFL LSU is the Buccaneers, right? But here's your answer. This needs to get updated. You see the Falcons had the most draft picks, but let's see. Let me do some quick math here, Mark. You know, that could be tough for someone like me. Let's see. Two Texans. Yeah, the Falcons still lead for the most picks since 1980s. So since 1980, the Falcons had the most picks. Still. Seahawks were second with 10. Before this draft, you're right. The Texans are NFL LSU. But really, this offseason, the Buccaneers are NFL LSU. Poll question's up right now. The first poll question was, were you shocked that 10 LSU players got drafted? Okay. Here's what I'll say, Mark. The Saints are OSU. Huh? It's every year. It's every year. But here's the thing. It's worked. So I don't know. Okay. And I got into it. I didn't get into it. You guys remember Sean Fox? I'll have Sean Fox on here again. My good friend who hosts in North Louisiana. He's one of the best radio hosts. To me, he's the most underrated radio host in Louisiana. He's only been doing it 17 years in Ruston, Monroe, in all of North Louisiana. Okay. You have to separate your Saints fandom from LSU fandom. It is not the same thing. How did the linebacker poll disappear? Is it still up? Hey, look at this malarkey. This is a bunch of malarkey.
Look at that.
It's gone? How is it gone? I can still see it. That's crazy. YouTube must really hate linebackers. Okay, I can see it too, Mark. Heck yeah, it's work, damn a cat. What do you mean they haven't won jack? They've gone to the playoffs essentially every year. They've had an amazing franchise. Just because you don't win the Super Bowl doesn't mean you're not great. Mark, I think Towboat and Jared are just trolling us. Let's see. There you are, Max. I knew you'd be swinging by at some point. I know Max is going to miss me so hard. Oh, man. So there you go. Oh, we do have a lot of our day ones coming in. I know I started the live chat a little bit earlier. But I do want our people. I won't spend as much time on it as I did earlier. I do want to share once again that our dear beloved King Robert did go be with the Lord early this morning. It's obviously really sad. You guys know King Robert hated the attention drawn on him, but he's been with me since day one. He and I have become really tight friends. I've never gotten to meet him. So I'm going to miss our FaceTimes. I'm going to miss our text conversations. I've been in conversation with his sister, who said he passed away peacefully with his inner circle of friends and family, which is all you can really hope for, right? And so here's King Robert from when he played ball. I know a lot of you got to know him through the chat, and you're just now learning of this. I won't spend too much time on it because we did touch on it a little bit earlier. And I know you guys love this man. I love this man. I never thought I could love this man as much as I love this man. I really do mean it. He gave me a lot of life lessons just in our conversations outside of football. So you guys know, I mean, the channel wouldn't exist if it wasn't for Robert, and his generosity. It was a big reason why Haley and I were able to, move on and take this channel to the next level. So, he would not want us talking about him at all. He would want us to keep going and keep building PHL. And he was the best. He was the absolute best. There's just no other way around it. I know. Thank you, Skipper. I really appreciate it. It really stinks. And even though I am going out of the country, I'm taking care of I'm sending flower arrangements and all that stuff. So it's brutal. It's brutal. And yeah, it's cool. You FaceTime. It's cool. You get to chat with them, and I talked with him a lot. Still, never getting to meet someone because of the Rona and his situation sucked. Yeah, that was part of it, but that's not who he really was. He was just the best. He was just the absolute best person to talk to, and every single one of you know that. So there you go. But But yeah, he would want us to keep going and not spend any more time on it. So this won't be the last time I'll share it. I'll probably mention it a few other times, even though he hates it. I know he's watching us right now from above. He's just the best. It's just no other way around. He was the best. But anyway, to go along with what we were talking about a minute ago, to answer your question, Matthew, who I think the best linebacker is, I would say Mike Jones. Now, I do think it is very important to share this bit of information as well, Tobo. Harold Perkins is not a linebacker in the way that you think linebackers are. He's not Devin White. Now, he can be Devin White, but still, that's not who I think he's going to be. I think he is going to be a jack linebacker hybrid safety type. I'll say this, as far as Harold Perkins is concerned, and I know he was a part of your question, I don't think I don't think LSU knows what the best way to use him will be, but I think starting him off as the jack linebacker or the standing outside linebacker would be, the absolute, best thing for him. What's up, Carvis? Good to see you. Yeah, I know you love King Robert as well. He was the best. He was the best. I still think TDP is going to end up being one of the best pros. Yeah, he's apparently, Danny let me know that he is signing with the Patriots. So that's really cool. But yeah, Harold Perkins is, of course, plenty athletic to play off-ball linebacker. I just think, starting off, they're just going to want him to get in there and just rush the passer, just get him out there and make plays. But if he does become an off-ball linebacker, that would obviously make me really happy as well, because it just gets a lot more speed on the field, right? FACP, thank you so much. You get to pick the next topic. Mark, you super chatted a little bit earlier. Skipper, you get to pick a topic as well. I know you're a little bit more laid back, just hang out kind of guy. This is a good one from Danny. Okay. Danny wants to talk about the future of the SEC. So I'm certainly down with that. FACP, you get a question in as well. Just let me know what you want to talk about. What is the best pod system for LSU when OK and Texas join the SEC? I like this one. Alabama, Auburn, Tennessee. And let me see the rest of this. Alabama, Auburn, Tennessee, Vanderbilt, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, South Carolina, LSU, Mississippi State, Texas A&M, Arkansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, Texas. So if there is a pod system, so the first thing I'll say about this, Danny, is, LSU, Mississippi State, Texas A&M, that would obviously be a tough one for LSU because Mississippi and Mississippi State does have good coaching right now. I think Mississippi and Mississippi State, they might have already hit their ceiling with what they've done already with Kiffin and Leach. But, for me, I think that pod system is very likely. I do think there would be a push from the SEC to get Texas and Texas A&M in the same pod just so they can play each other every year. But the good thing about the pod system, if the SEC did go to a 9-game conference schedule, I think it would be better for the SEC as a whole, even though it would make it tougher. If you're an LSU fan, this is what I'll say about the pod system, Danny, is you would prefer the pod system to come sooner rather than later, just simply because LSU playing Florida every year is such an advantageous disadvantage compared to a team like Texas A&M. Even though I like what South Carolina's done, they get to play South Carolina every year. So there you go. Thank you so much. Look, I got Chris's thing. It's a strong punch. Huh? What's my favorite flavor of Kool-Aid? Red. If you know, you know. It's not cherry. It's red. I hate how much I love fruit punch. I really do. But it's with OU in Texas. Oh, yeah. Well, thank you so much, FACP. Really good stuff. I'm down with this Pierce, and Pierce did join the PHL T-shirt club. Pierce, is it okay if I tell people where you reside, because it does get me excited? Let me know, Pierce, if it's okay if I shout out where you're from. This gets me excited as heck. But yeah, Danny, to finish up on the pod system, I love it. I'm also, Danny, a little bit of a stickler when it comes to scheduling. I think the most important thing. So there we go. So Pierce is our first PHL T-shirt club member in the lovely city of Ruston, Louisiana. Let's go, Ruston. Shout out Kyle Williams. Let's go. I love Ruston, Louisiana. I do. Man, you got Bovine Steakhouse in Ruston, Louisiana. It's one of the best steakhouses in Louisiana. I love Ruston. I do. I really do. Got some Railhouse coffee. Are you kidding me? Railhouse coffee, it's good. Go Ruston Bulldogs. I like Louisiana Tech as well. Mark super chat from earlier. He wants to know why I'm not at Garth Brooks. I'm kind of mad because so I did country music radio against my will. I'll tell that story one day. So I did a country music radio show. I never listened to country music in my life, and I did it for 5 years, along with a sports show and an R&B show every day, right? And the country show was fun because we made it fun. The only show I've ever paid to go to, the only paid country show where I paid for a ticket, was Garth Brooks, and it was incredible. I am a little mad because Blake went and he didn't invite me. So if any of you are AYS fans, let him know that me and him have beef. I'm serious. He texted me earlier today. It's like, dude, I'm at the Garth show. And I was like, really? You didn't invite me? I like Garth. I do. One of the few country acts I actually do like a lot. I like Brothers Osborne as well. Kind of knew TJ. Kind of knew John and TJ, Brothers Osborne. They're really cool dudes. Interviewed them, I think, 2 or 3 times. And it's crazy how big they've gotten. But yeah, country's not really my thing. No, don't tell him now. He's having a good time. Blake's one of those caring guys that will hit me up and be like, dude, what's up, man? What's up? What's going on? Danny's got to get her shots in at North Louisiana. I love it. Dan, look, everybody thinks Danny is the nicest, sweetest Georgia peach out there. But no, you guys know Danny always gets a shot in at me. Always. As I sip my fruity little Zima right here. Wheeler Wallen Jr. Also, welcome to the channel, Willie Fistress. I love, this is the coolest thing about this channel, okay? Whenever I'm talking about LSU football, we have a bunch of viewers that just don't comment. They just watch. But if I bring up a different topic like food or music, you get a bunch of new commenters like Willie Fistress. This photo is amazing. Yeah, Chris. By the way, Chris English did make this for me. I feel like I need to say that every time. It is quite delicious. And shout out to you, your daughter's accomplishment. Congratulations. Tyler said good stuff. I did the band thing as well. It's hard. Band can get competitive, really can. But Willie Fistress, this is a great. We have Santa Claus, and it's either you're in a subway here, as in like not like the sub shop, but like a transit system, or you have a very curved Aladdin sword here. It's either one of those two things. Tevin, good to see ya. Tarzan King Price, welcome to the channel. Love it, man. Tarzan, who is your barber, man? Look at this shape up. My goodness gracious. If you touch this hairline, your finger would bleed. God, those edges are sharp as heck. Goodness gracious. That is a touch up right there. Charlie, let's go. I knew it. Cucumber water. You know what's funny, Danny? I hate cucumber water. I hate it when you're like at an event and they have like all the lemons and cucumbers and it's like water's fine as is. Thank you, Willie. Appreciate it. I'll check it out. Wheeler Walker Jr. I don't listen to country anymore because I don't have to. So Tarzan King Price, welcome to the channel. Also welcome Willie. I know there's a lot of people that watch and never comment. Tarzan, if this is your first time, welcome. So once again, if you're just now joining us, I am going out of country for the next 2 weeks for the first time in a long time. Okay, so on not this week, Tarzan King Price, but the next week, I have a deep dive on the schedule where I actually go game by game by game, and I actually share what I've learned from Vegas insiders, from what I've read, how they feel about the schedule, about the over-under number, and quite frankly, the number that I have heard most from Vegas insiders for LSU's over-under is 6.5. Now, what's really interesting about this is I do want to show you this really quickly, okay? So if you go to the community tab, so I'll be posting on the community tab a lot because I won't be able to do as many videos as I normally do. So I want to show you guys this if you guys don't mind. Don, you got to let me know what size shirt you wear. I have your address. Let me know your t-shirt size so I can send it. I've been waiting. Good job, Tarzan. Good to see you. Good to see you again, Bruce. Don, please let me know your t-shirt size. I think I still have your address. Medium. Okay, good. Yeah. There we go. Let's see. Sir Carter International PHL. So we will be going live on Tuesday. I don't know what time just yet. We're going about 6 p.m. So, yeah. So I do want to share this with you really, really quickly. Let's go here, share screen. Let's not do that. All right. By the way, this is going to be your tonight is the last night you can get a PHL shirt, or else I won't be able to ship them until I get back in 2 weeks. So if you want a PHL shirt. So if you go to our community page, all you got to do is click on the page, Power Hour LSU, click this right there, Power Hour LSU with Carter the Power. So these are your results right now. 9, 9, 10, 7, 10, 10, 10, 9, 8, 10, 8, 9, 10, 10, 9, 9, 8, 12, 8, 10, 11, 8, 9, 10, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9. Duke Carter. But yeah, fish and chips. Well, Danny's already got my first round of fish and chips. I'm pretty excited about that. So Pegasus, I am getting to go to Anfield. I'll put it this way: we're gonna need some juicy super chats to cover that part of the trip. I'd love to, Danny. I'd love to do that. Baron, I love Baron Davis, so I like that the best. So go to the community page, and I'm going to use some of your responses for this video. I'm going to finish up here in just a second. Oh, there's no way. Huh? Yeah, tell that kid I want to fight him right now. Nobody hurts Walker Howard unless they come for me first. We got another Bama Tiger. Okay, I guess the first stop on the roadshow, Danny, would have to be Alabama. So Tarzan, I want to introduce you to Jared. Jared is a Bama Tiger. Matthew Pittman, Towboat, was in here earlier. He's also a Bama Tiger. Greg was in here. I think Greg is in Montgomery. You know what's funny, Tarzan? I would say probably a third of my viewers are Alabama Tigers. I am not kidding. You guys see it all the time. We have so many viewers in Alabama. I would still say most of my viewers are in Louisiana, but there are so many Alabama Tigers. It's crazy. Mark is a Bama. Mark is a Bama Tiger. Pooh Bear is a Bama Tiger. Look at all these PHLers in there. I'm telling you, there are so many Bama Tigers. It's crazy. Danny, you were a Rustonite for 2 years? I didn't know that. That's cool. That's cool. Biloxi? I got to finish cutting a video after this. And Mark said he's going to go with 10 wins. I like that. I can't believe all the Garth Brooks hating here tonight. Well, I guess if you're a Garth Brooks fan and you're also an LSU football fan, you would be in that building tonight, right? I guess if I was a country music fan, because I've gone to Bayou Country Superfest 3 times for work, and it was crazy all 3 times. Music was okay. Gulfport, Monroe, Amacat. I love it. The 10+ win club. Let's go. What's up, Bruce? Bruce wants to chat some Cruton. We haven't talked much Cruton tonight, Bruce. I'm glad you jumped in. Yeah, as far as Cruton is concerned, I could I see a few of the other elite quarterbacks committing in the next few weeks while I am out. Yeah, I could. RD, how are you not at guard tonight? Of course, I dropped my phone because I'm a klutz. Garth from Wayne's World. Well, of course, Garth from Wayne's World is better than any Garth. Wayne's World. Wayne's World. I love Wayne's World. Wayne's World. But yeah, Bruce, as far as like Cruton is concerned, to answer your Cruton question, as far as LSU is concerned, I think they do want to get one of these 5-star QBs. Who doesn't, right? It's like the no duh moment. Still, I just don't know if it's going to be Arch, right? So you're looking at Jaden Rashada, who made that surprise visit to LSU, and then Dante Moore. Now, if you were to handicap it, Dante Moore is going to be by far the most likely candidate to win or to commit to LSU at this point. I would say he's the most likely candidate of any quarterback, regardless of star ranking. But I do think if LSU puts the pressure on Ricky Collins and BK fully goes in and offers Ricky Collins, he's going to go to LSU. So it just depends on how you view this class. I don't think LSU is going to get back into it with Eli Holstein. I just don't. And yeah. But some of you are some Rashada believers. I do think Rashada and Dante Moore are relatively similar quarterbacks too. Very pocket savvy. They're both athletic, but they're pocket guys, right? Chance of me missing a live stream? Never. So yeah, I'll talk about this. Oh, Danny, I'm down to talk about this. What did I miss with the Lincoln Riley story? So this actually was a story that kind of flew under the radar last night because there's a lot going on. There's NBA playoffs. There's a lot going on, right? The NFL draft, spring games, all of that. But the story is Jordan Addison, who was the... Yes, Don, you are the captain of the Puerto Vallarta chapter. I need to come see you. So Jordan Addison was the Biletnikoff winner, right? He was the best wide receiver in college football. If Kayshawn stays healthy, he probably wins the award because of the numbers he was putting up. But Jordan Addison, good wide receiver, he won the award. Now, he won as a true sophomore, and he is coming back for another season. And Jordan Addison, he lost his wide receiver coach, Brennan Marion, who goes to Texas. And he also loses his quarterback, Kenny Pickett, to the first round of the NFL draft. So pretty much Jordan Addison knows he has accomplished everything he can accomplish at Pitt. They're not going to win. They're not a good team. And he obviously sees the NFL draft happening, and probably there's a piece of him saying, you know what, if I could have come out this year, I would have been one of these first rounders. So the rumor out there is that Jordan Addison was being pursued by USC. And reportedly, there was a phone call from Pat Narduzzi, the Pitt coach, to Lincoln Riley, and apparently that got a little intense, okay? The issue here is Caleb Williams reportedly was the one that called him. I didn't hear that part of the story, but apparently everyone thinks Lincoln Riley reached out to Jordan Addison and said, look, we have money. We're USC. We need a number one receiver. You could be that guy. Which is crazy because USC has Mario Williams, who's a really good player. But look, this is where we are right now. If you're a top 15 power and you got money and you got a good quarterback situation, even if you're the reigning Biletnikoff winner like Jordan Addison, or you're the reigning number one receiver on a national championship team like Jermaine Burton, you want to go get the most money and you want to go to the best situation for you to get into the next NFL draft, right? So apparently things have tempered down, Danny, and Jordan Addison is going to stay with Pitt, but he can do whatever he wants with the transfer portal. I'm not sure if there's animosity between him and Pitt, but obviously another story, and this is a different sport. But in basketball, we saw Wong, one of the best guards on Miami. He saw that Miami paid a Kansas State transfer an $800,000 deal to come play basketball in Miami. Once again, this is basketball at a non-basketball power. Now, Jim Larinaga is probably a top 15 college basketball coach. Still, Larinaga just signed an extension. It's a wild, wild west, Jim West desperado. That's the thing, Danny. This is not illegal. Now, it is illegal for Lincoln Riley or a USC official to contact a player that is currently on another team. That is against NCAA rules. But it is not illegal for players to contact each other. Now, is it ethical? That could be a different discussion for a different day. So here's what I'll do. And look, I said I wouldn't go long tonight. F it. I got to edit a video. I'll just stay up all night so I can make sure I sleep on a plane tomorrow. Type Y for yes, type in for no. Do you think the way name, image, and likeness is moving now Do you think it's ruining college sports? Do you think it's, let me say this. Do you think it's good for college sports? Type Y for yes, type in for no. I think the transfer portal was definitely good, but I think obviously it is not good for the kids that think that they can go anywhere, right? You notice Coy Moore still hasn't landed anywhere. I'm surprised. A lot of you are saying no. Pegasus says yes. Don says no. Pierce says no. It is interesting, right? Oh, no, not good for college football. I kind of blanked out. I kind of forgot how I asked the question because there was a big thunder. So I'm sorry, I forgot how I phrased the question because I'm an idiot. I said, do I think it's good for college football? I think, as far as, I'm a big Tosh Boyd fan. I think as far as this idea that it made backdoor transactions move to the front door, there is some truth to that. I do think there is some truth, but it's made it easier, right? Cole, welcome to the channel. As always, newbies get to ask a question. Good to see you. Well, y'all could always ask questions. But yeah, everyone welcome Cole to the channel. What's good, Chillmonger? Where have you been hiding? Good to see you, man. I like it, man. I don't know if Doc Knock is in here. He's a Phi Beta Sigma. Shout out to the Omega Psi Phis. Look, and Chillmonger, I bet you there's nothing better than being an Omega Psi Phi and an LSU fan. Because, purple and gold, purple and gold. Working like a... Good to see you, man. I'll say this, though. I don't think, the backdoor, front door thing. I'll tell you this. Before NIL, there wasn't the Texas Longhorn Football Pancake Fund where every offensive lineman gets $50,000 to go to the school. I love it. There you go. To the greatest show on the internet. I don't know if I'm the greatest show. I'll tell you this. I know Haley doesn't agree. All Haley's been doing is watching this Johnny Depp stuff, right? She watches this lawyer, Emily D. Baker. But yeah, we have a fun live show. We do. It's just a cool little community. We just hang out, drink Zima. That's all we do. And I think a lot of you feel the same way, Danny. Like, I don't think it's good. Like what happened in Louisville, right? The Louisville kid goes to Alabama. That kind of sucks. But yeah. Okay, I've met McAfee one time. He's great. I know you wrestling fans love you some Pat McAfee. I don't get into the wrestling stuff. I'm not smart enough to keep up with all the storylines. This is kind of cool. He played high school football with Jameis. It's cool, man. You're an EDB as well? Huh? I'll say that she's got like the most pleasant voice I've ever heard. The issue with the salary cap thing, Mark, is that this is not a salary, right? So, like for instance, athletes don't have a salary cap when it comes to advertising either. That's what name, image, and likeness is. So, if it's legal for me to make money, like, you know, speaking of partners, shout out to our friends at Pressy Collection, pressycollection.com. Don't forget, DB watches. Gotta love it, baby. $30 off if you use promo code PHL, baby. Gotta love it. PressyCollection.com, bringing the heat all this offseason and supporting us, growing the channel. And she doesn't drink girly drinks. Go ahead and get you one, Tarzan. No, they are pretty dope, right? It's pre-orders. I'd hop on it now because I don't think it's going to stay at $99, and that's only if you use my promo code PHL. We got some cool stuff coming up for you. I've heard Porto Large is really beautiful. Bang. So there you go. Go down there and you'll find the DBU watch. It's a lot of fun, man. They do look nice. We did work really hard on it. So yeah. All right, Don. We will see you live from London on Tuesday. No, it is cool. That is cool. That is cool. One thing I am interested to see what that Hunter kid's going to do at Dion's school. Like, is he just going to play corner, or is he going to play some receiver as well? I think if you have like just such a special athlete, you have to play him both ways. But it's very interesting. But yeah, so we are at 2 hours. So here's what we'll do. I'll answer as many questions as we can in the next 5 minutes. Okay. But if you do super chat, we'll keep this live stream going. As Tarzan says, this is the best live show on planet, according to him. Well, Pierce, if you're a member of the PHL T-shirt club, guess what? You're automatically part of the PHL board. That's how I'm doing it from now on. Like, you become higher up on the PHL hierarchy if you get a shirt, right? So the way it works is King Robert, rest in peace, is always going to be number one, right? But Prez, who's not here tonight, spending some time with the kiddos, he's up there. But if you are basically a member of the PHL T-shirt club, you're on a different level than everybody else. It's just automatic, just like that. Promo code PHL on the watch. Ooh, Tarzan. That's deep, man. But that's the money you spend on the tattoo should go towards a watch and a shirt, right? Got to get you one of both, man. The problem with NIL is the NCAA dug their heels in on the idea that they would never allow athletes to make money. Fast forward to last year, and their hands were forced and had no well thought out plan. Boom! So here's part of the reason why, when it comes to these general topics, I get analytics. So I get Google Analytics, and I look at the numbers. And if I venture, like if I talk about like country music for like 2 minutes or like a couple of seconds, my analytics stay the same. If I get off LSU football for a little bit, analytics stays mostly the same. However, when I get into other topics, like other SEC schools and general NCAA topics, I do lose viewers. So in a month or so, I am launching a new SEC channel, and I've already recorded a lot of content for that. And I will talk more about the NCAA name, image, and likeness. And you notice I didn't bring it up until a little bit later, until Danny asked about the Jordan Addison situation. But this is pretty spot on right here from Chillmonger. And I won't talk too much about this. But the truth of the matter here is a lot of people like to point at Mark Emmert, our fellow LSU graduate, Mark Emmert. Well, I don't know if he was a graduate, but he was a former AD. Thank you, Cole. Welcome to the channel, man. We just hang out, man. We're just diehard LSU football. But Chillmonger, this is spot on. Like this is a correct take with little interpretation. This is true. And it's not Mark Emmert's fault. Okay. I know a lot of people like to blame Mark Emmert, and he does suck. But Mark Emmert, like most commissioners, are just the puppet for everybody else. That's it. Mark Emmert isn't the guy who necessarily calls the shots. He has to listen to what the athletic directors and NCAA board members have to say. So the issue is people in power that profit off a system that is very strange. How many billion-dollar entities out there don't pay their labor at all? Now, we know a lot of billion-dollar entities out there underpay their labor. We'll get into that because that's, not something I'm an expert in, but it's just true. And, the NCAA business model was so strange, right, for so long that you could do nothing outside of getting your room and board and all that stuff taken care of. And that is still a sweet deal for NCAA athletes because the NCAA gives you a great platform to do what you got to do, but you still couldn't profit off of it for so long. And the NCAA pushed back against it for so long, and they had plenty of time to do so. They should have seen the writing on the wall with the Ed O'Bannon situation that the tide was turning on them. So, Chillmonger, this is actually one of the best super chats, and you were just spot on. A lot like Danny's super chats. You know, you two in particular have really strong takes, and they're oftentimes just spot on. And this is just true. Like, it's just true. Sometimes if you don't plan, you're not ready. And my camera died. Let's see here. Let's do this. So now you get to see me in non-HD. There we go. I do what I can when I can. Ha, ha, ha. I love it. Mark Emmert equals Roger Goodell, Adam Silver, Rob Manfred. That's true. But there you go. Paid state material, baby. As long as I get to be on the board, I'm down. I'm down for the Red Raiders being powerful. I've never had a problem with Texas Tech. I haven't. So there you go. Now, the schedule is going to be a little bit different over the next couple of weeks. Okay. We do have a bunch of content that'll be pushed out. I'm going to be sending all kinds of videos and stuff from England. I think you guys, would you guys like some vlog kind of content? I know it's a little bit different than like your normal LSU football stuff. I release all kinds of different stuff. I'm meeting a few PHLers that reside overseas, which is obviously really cool. But yeah, I'm pretty excited. Oh, Danny, did they really run out of beer at the? Is that true? I have to know if this is factual. And really? No. How does that happen? How do you leave that much money on the table? All right, Tarzan, we'll do some stuff. How does one leave that much money on the table? No. Huh? Has Garth even taken the stage yet? What time does he go on? Does anyone know what time he goes on? That would drive me insane. Now, from a safety standpoint, that would be a good thing, right? Because, you know, it's a little bit different than like Tiger Stadium, right? Because there's always another LSU football game you can drink at. This is the only night you get to see Mr. Colin Baton Rouge himself in Tiger Stadium. So maybe, just maybe that was by design. But people don't care about safety. They care about profits. And I'm not talking about religious profits. I'm talking about profit. Are you me? I guess you would undersell beer to Tiger Stadium because you can't keep it for the season, right? Oh man, that is nuts. And I'm trying to think if someone let me know if Garth has been on stage or not. Someone This is crazy. So Danny, if you have any photos or tweets, send them to me if you can. Or if anybody does. I am at Carter the Power and at Power Hour LSU. Let me see. Oh, look, got a small little viral tweet. If you're on Twitter, it's the best way to reach me. That's my LSU. He's on stage now. That's crazy. Oh, that's nuts. Talk to me, girl, just one more time. That's crazy. That's nuts. Huh? Huh? Skipper, thanks for sending this to me, my friend. That's crazy. That's crazy. Oh, what a photo this is. Dang, the top rows are packed. That's crazy. From Skipper again. Appreciate you. Man, that's nuts. I guess. Man, it's just so crazy to me. Would y'all like to go to a completely full concert? I would go to a completely full football game, obviously, but I love football. Now I know, doing this channel, I have to sacrifice going to games for post game and all that stuff. I would like to go to one every year. I went to one this past year, but left at halftime. I don't know if there's a concert though that I would want to go like jam packed, sit in traffic. I don't know. Glenn Logan to the Browns. Did y'all see the stat that every defensive player from the 2019 team that started got drafted. So everyone talks about the 2019 LSU offense. 10 of the 11 starters, everyone except Glenn Logan. And let's be honest, Neil Farrell rotated with Glenn Logan. So really 11 out of the 11 starters got drafted. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, you know, that's the issue about scarcity, right? So for me, like I was fortunate, you know, being in media, I was able to go to a lot of concerts and games for free, right? And you know, I don't mind paying for a ticket to a sporting event. The issue, like I just fell into this with Liverpool, so we just had to buy Liverpool tickets, and this is a bucket list item for me. This is my Garth Brooks and Tiger Stadium going to Liverpool, and Pegasus, if he's still in here, he's a European soccer fan. Um, it's a big deal. It's a big deal, right? So I'm going to Europe. This is the only time I'll probably ever get to go to Anfield. And they're in the middle of a title race, and the tickets were insanely expensive. The issue, though, is they don't tell you where you're sitting. I know I'm in a certain level, but they didn't tell me where I'm going to be sitting. So I could just be in a corner somewhere. So it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. Erica Badu. I'm down with America Badu. Was it? It was trying to think how many starters were drafted on the 03. I don't want to look all that up. All right, guys, this was a lot of fun. Last live stream from the Evil Layer here for quite some time. And of course, you guys know I love and adore each and every one of you. One of the best things you could do is follow me on Twitter or Instagram. I'm better on Twitter at Power Hour LSU. You can also follow me at Carter the Power as well. That way you can message me and all that good stuff. And yeah. And tomorrow night, our Miles Brennan film study will drop. Make sure you don't miss out on that. I worked really hard on it. On Tuesday, we will go live. And then on Monday, we will be dropping our offensive depth chart, my first offensive depth chart after spring. So that'll be on Monday night. So yeah, I will see you across the pond. One more thing about the Miles Brennan film study. I don't know if I'm going to be able to live chat that because it'll be 7 p.m. for you guys, which would be 1 a.m. for me. So I'm probably asleep during the Miles Brennan film study. So Chris, Danny, I know you guys will be in here tomorrow night at 7 p.m. for the Miles Brennan film study. If there was ever a time for all you guys to show up without me being there, that would be it. So tomorrow night, 7 p.m., you'll see the Miles Brennan film study. Big thank you to our top super chatters tonight. Danny's always supporting. Jared, you guys know who you are. And as always, we're going to dedicate tonight and the rest of this channel moving forward to our dear beloved friend, King Robert. You know, he was one of those guys like, hey, everyone say hi. Let's get back to LSU football chatter. He's going to hate that we spent this much time on him, but, you know, he's gone to be with the Lord. And shout out to all his family, Mitzi and everybody. I know it's been really tough on everyone in King Robert's inner circle, and he'll always be a member of PHL, the king of PHL. It is Power Hour LSU Bomb on tonight. Ooh, yes, Tarzan, good to have you. Tonight, I'm eating a hot dog with some elotes corn on top of it.
I'm getting ready to rock to bed.
Well, I'm about to sign off.
Okay, well, I'm still getting ready to go to bed. The rest of it, you can pack up yourself. I've got everything else done.
It is Power Hour LSU Boom. Night, Z, baby.